Well, so far, organisations in the private sector have said that they're going to contribute around 32 million rand to help people in KZN. I'm sure that that amount is going to go up. One organisation which is donating money is the banking group Absa. They're donating 10 million rand to people there. They're also making what are termed as other concessions to insurance customers. Faisal Mkhize is the Managing Executive for Relationship Banking at Absa Retail and Business. Faisal, good afternoon to you, and I really appreciate the time on a public holiday. What kind of help are you giving people in KZN?
Good afternoon, Stephen, and thanks for the opportunity, and thanks just giving us a chance to talk about what we're doing in this environment. So basically, as you can imagine, there's too much devastation that is taking place in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So as a bank, that we have a strong presence in that environment, and we've got also a number of our employees that work in that province. So we felt that it's prudent that we come up and support the efforts that are taking place together with other businesses and government to help communities to rebuild from the devastation. So in essence, we are investing an amount of 10 million rands to discuss to ensure that we can co-partner with a number of other people that are involved in the rebuilding efforts in that province.
Are you making other interventions as well?
Yes, so as you can imagine, as we try and make sense of the pressure and everything that people have gone through, we are discovering other needs. So in essence, at this stage, that's our commitment. But over and above that, we are also making some efforts to ensure that from an insurance point of view, that we've got teams on the ground that are deployed to ensure that they can be able to fast-track some of the applications under normal circumstances for claims, so that people don't have to wait longer lead time to get the applications processed. So this is just one way in which we can be able to ensure that at least operationally we can ease the pain that people have gone through.
Faisal, I don't mean to pry, but I think I may just ask, if I may, around the mechanism you're going to use to give the money. All through the last few days, there's so much cynicism that, people in government will steal this or that, the claims that people have been making. How are you actually making the donation? Are you giving it to one organisation? Are you going to disperse or pay out the money yourself?
Yeah, so we've got a multiple strategy that we're using in this case. So I think one can understand where people are coming from with regards to concerns around how funds, are being, utilized. So in our case, that we work predominantly with the provincial government, a number of local municipalities where the impact is great. So in essence, what we do, we sit with them, understand the need, and then when it comes to interventions, we use a number of our partners that have a credibility and a track record in doing work for us. And then in that way, we are able to commission the work. So, in other cases, like we have entities that we have been partnering for a long period of time, like Gift of the Givers. In those cases, because of track record and obviously the experience in working with us, they understand our parameters and guiding principles with regards to how we, do this work. So in those cases, we are able to issue money upfront so that they can continue with the work. So, but in other cases, we commission the work. On the basis of the work that gets done, we're then able to pay ourselves. But we are very confident with regards to controls when it comes to these things, because we've got experience. We've been here before, in terms of the crisis, one, in terms of our responses to COVID-19, number one, and number two, in some of the recent events that we've seen in KwaZulu-Natal, where we needed to respond both to communities and our colleagues. So we're very confident with regards to processes and that are in place to help us deal the problems.
Look, I mean, it helps that you're bankers. You know what you're doing when it comes to money. That always helps, Faisal.
Absolutely.
Are there particular places you would like the money to be spent? I mean, there's so many different priorities. Just off the top of my head, there's food, there's water, there's rebuilding schools, for example. Any particular place you think it needs to be spent?
Yeah, good question, Stephen. So what is key here is that, we are already in action. So every day we have a plan with regards to what is it that we like to see get done. So for instance, I can speak with a lot of authority that today we've got 10 water tankers that are going to specific hospitals. So we're very clear with regards to what is it that we want to get done. So hospital water supply is priority for us. Number two, we started in the last 2 days where, the water problem was at peak, and then we've commissioned supplies to water to specific branches, particularly for our colleagues, So in that situation, we're very clear that we can track and trace, what is available. So it's depend on needs, right? So one of the things that we've seen now taking place is that working with other organizations on the ground that are supplying warm, for instance, meals. We commission, a specific number to be, dispersed into specific areas. We are able to commission that, and then we are able to track that. So in the main, we've got short-term needs where people need food and water, which is priority. But for us, the pressure in hospitals, it's priority, because you can imagine, that's where the need is mostly needed, because even where people are able to get into hospitals, if they get there, they can't get assistance, because there is a shortage of water, it becomes even a bigger problem. It multiplies, the challenge that we have. Yeah.
Sure. And Faisal, look, I don't know if you're able to help me on this, but you're a bank, you've donated quite a lot of money. Would you like to see the other banks doing the same thing? Would you like to maybe challenge them? Come on, maybe they should do the same thing that you've done?
No, a good call, Stephen. So, look, our view is that the needs on the ground are enormous. We can't do it alone. And I just think that there's been positive response from a number of banks when it comes to this effort. All I can ask, maybe just to corporate South Africa, to say, let's deep in our pockets. Let's see to what extent we can make a difference. And my sense that this is just the beginning. I will not be surprised as we discover more pain that when it comes to rebuilding efforts, we might be expected, to look at other plans in terms of how do we then, contribute also in that part of the world in terms of ensuring that we are able to rebuild these communities together.
Thank you very much indeed. Faisal Mkhize is Managing Executive for Relationship Banking at Absa Retail and Business. Really do appreciate the time. Well,